Welcome to Indian News. Our guests today are two pillars of Vishwa Hindu Parishad of America, Abhay Asthana and Sanjay Kaul. Why are they here today? Because they have made a phenomenal achievement of building Om Hindu Community Center in Billerica, Massachusetts. This 11,000 square foot building on 10 acres is ground up building. First building in the United States built from the scratch by Vishwa Hindu Parishad. We are going to talk to them about what they are going to do, what is going to be the mission, and how this idea come. Abhay, welcome to our studio. Sanjay, welcome back.
Namaste.
This is your second time, I think you guys are here, right? Yeah, excellent. Good, yeah. So, first, congratulations on this landmark achievement. And this is going to be the first ground-up building for Vishwa Hindu Parishad here in the US.
Yes.
So, let's first start with when the building is ready.
Yes.
It has got all the approvals and
everything.
The permit to occupy and everything. So, when is the inauguration?
We are looking for the first Navratra to inaugurate the building, and we will come out with the announcement to the community as soon as possible.
So, when is the first Navratra of the year? In March?
March 30th.
March 30th. Okay. So, now, Asthana Sahab, now let's go back in the history and how this idea come and how this came to fruition.
So, before we do anything, get into the details, I want to take this opportunity to thank your audience and to thank you for having us here.
Sure.
And also to wish your audience a very happy Mahashivratri.
Today is Mahashivratri.
Yes.
Oh, what a wonderful day. Yeah, absolutely. Great.
So that's one. And the second is both Sanjay and I have just come back from Kumbh in Prayagraj.
So you brought all the blessings from
So you stole my words, but
including with the water from the Sangam too, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we want to convey to your audience that.
It really sounds like a very phenomenal coincidence that so many things are happening at the same time.
I agree.
Yes. And you guys heard about the approval while you were in Sangam there, or
No,
after we took the dip.
Yeah, after we took the dip, I came first. I returned back to US, to Boston on 12th. And right next week, after the long weekend, on Tuesday, I went to the office of the town of Billerica. I met with the commissioner who is in charge of granting the occupancy permit. We had a long chat with him. All the paperwork had already been done. We had submitted all the paperwork and we followed up on it. And he was happy with the progress that we have made. He was happy with the construction we have done and the standards of construction we have followed. And therefore, he issued the permit, occupancy permit.
Excellent. Great. So now, since you mentioned that you had your dip there, I have to ask you, both of you, because we are getting mixed news here. So how was the water?
Water is as clean as anything. I bought some water with me, so did Abhayji, and we have been giving it to our friends and our relations here as a token of prasad from there.
Sure.
Expecting that people will just wash their hands or wash their face and add it to their head. But what they do is they just take it on their hand and they drink it. And I was afraid in my heart, but none of them have complained so far. And it's a blessing. It's the cleanest and purest water.
What was your experience?
I agree totally. Because we took the dip near the Sangam. No special place, nothing. We got a bottle of water about this much. We brought it. It's been sitting there. It's crystal clear, just like the water that I just drank.
Just like this water, right?
As clear as that. It's amazing.
If not more.
Okay. So now coming back, so in 2025,
history.
the building will be inaugurated. But when did the initial idea came to your mind that we need to have this?
Yeah. So it goes back to the year, say, 2000, 2003. I mean, since then, we've always been wanting to have a place of our own, right? Where we could meet and do all kinds of things. And so it started then, but then in 2006, we had the first Hindu Mandir Executive Conference. And in that conference, one of the things that we had a discussion on, an important discussion on, is we have close to like 1,500 temples in the US.
In the US.
And another 300 in Canada. And
so this was at that time?
This was in 2006.
So how many temples, I have to ask you, do you have any idea how many temples are there in the US?
Close to 2,000 temples.
2,000.
Yeah. And in North America.
Okay.
And so now, at that time, we had this discussion that these temples are beautiful because I've traveled to almost all of them. And we had this Rath Yatra, we went to almost like 800, 900 temples. Beautiful temples. The question that was raised at that time is, so what do we do beyond the temples, right? I mean, the worship practices are great, but then do the temples go back to their old, ancient, practices of having like an educational center there, having a priest program there, having like seva activities going on over there. So like community outreach, because it used to be the Jan Jagran Kendra, right? That's what the whole idea behind the temple is. So one of the things that we took back from there is that maybe we need to create a model of a place which has all of these elements in there. And then that's when the first conference, Tej Chandanji went with me because we became very close friends, and his whole family with Prem and Tej. So we went there to that conference. So he also came back with that idea, and we kept going back and forth. So by the time 2012 came, Tej said, you guys want to build something, and we have this piece of land that's just sitting there. So maybe we can give that land to you. I said, it will be great. And that's how it started.
Let me also add something here.
Sure.
Like Abhay said about the background of this Om Hindu Community Center, I also want to add that the vision also came from Dr. Mahesh Mehta ji, who was the founding father of Vishwa Hindu Parishad of America. He had a vision that we should have our centers in America, like in Boston. He did. And in Boston, New York, Washington, D.C., in Texas, in Chicago, in California. That was his vision. So his vision was brought forward by Abhay taking it as his mission.
Excellent.
So vision became mission, and then he brought me in to execute it. So that is basically how it flew. And basically, as Abhay mentioned, Tej Chandanji donated the land to Vishwa Hindu Parishad in 2014. That is when we actually took over the ownership, and then we did a little puja at that time. But then we had to go through a rigorous process of getting permissions and getting our designs approved by the town. And that took considerable time. I think one of the reasons why Tejji actually also gave it to Vishwa Hindu Parishad was he realized this is a parcel of land which is 11.5 acres of land, and it abuts the Concord River. So there's a lot of wetland around it, but beautiful piece of land. And only 4.5 acres are buildable. So there's a lot of technicality in getting the permits. That took us time from 2014 to 2019 to get the permit. And when we got the permit in 2019 and we were planning to and gearing up to start the construction, then came the COVID. So that is brief background.
Sure. Excellent.
Yeah.
Now, since both of you mentioned 2014 and Mr. Tej Chandan, so this was the big news at the time. For the first time, somebody donated so much land for this type of cause. And we took our camera, went to his house, did an interview with him and his wife.
Yeah, I have seen it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so we are going to have some clips. So today we have with us Mr. Tej Tandon, he and his wife Prem made headlines last week when it was announced that they have donated 10 acres of land in Billerica to build a Hindu community center. Today, we are going to talk to him and later on with his wife about their journey here in the United States. How did they amass this land? Why did they donate? And today we found out just before the interview that he has also donated $1 million to the project to start the construction of the building.
And I have to mention that credit goes to Teji and Premji, his wife.
Sure.
And also for them, Mr. Kanayo Lala was like a Hanuman who actually did a lot of work, groundwork on getting the feasibility studies done and other studies done and in getting the project moving over the years.
I agree. Yeah. Kanayalalaji has been there since day one.
Oh,
with Teji.
Excellent. So also to build the building, of course, he gave the land and the $1 million, but it seems the cost is much more. So did you do some fundraising?
Oh, see that whatever monies he gave was actually used up in getting the studies done, the feasibility study, traffic study, and all other abutting neighbors to convince them that this is not going to impact them, but it is going to improve the lives of the social network around it. So we had to go through a rigorous process that cost us a lot of money, hiring attorneys, getting studies done by engineering firms and things like that, and then developing the land because it was a raw, close to nature, a jungle.
Sure.
So in order to get it to be where it is, a lot of that first $1 million was all spent in just development.
And I can imagine the building just right next to the river, which is
It is a beautiful piece of land.
Sure.
And the vision is actually also to have, which Abhay is going to talk about, to have trails there and have statues of Emerson, of all the other leading leaders from this country, and also from our own heritage and culture.
Excellent. So, Abhay, so let's start with the what is the mission of the building and the institute there, organization there?
So, in a nutshell, so the Om Hindu Community Center is an intergenerational institution, a space where people can come and learn. They can have their devotional practices and have community bonding. And with discovering and sharing and celebrating our heritage, arts and culture. So that's kind of like in a nutshell.
Okay.
But we can elaborate on that.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah. Now, before I have one question for Sanjay, since we're talking about the infrastructure building, tell us about the size of the building and how the space is going to be used.
Excellent question. See, the size of building, basically right now we have built 2 floors, 2 levels. There's no basement because, like I mentioned,
it is on the river.
It abuts the river, so there's no basement, and the foundation is built of concrete piers going deep into the soil to the rock. And then the first floor, it's a concrete structure. The total square footage of the building is 11,000 square feet. Each level is about 5,500 square feet.
Again, I see a coincidence. 11 acres of land, 11,000 square feet. What's going on there?
It's all divine. Who knows? We had originally thought of building 4 floors. But at this point, we stopped at 2 floors because the funding.
Sure.
When we started, we went to our donors, our friends, our family, our relations, and ourselves. We have all contributed physically, mentally, emotionally, and whatever resources we have of our own.
Sure.
And then on top of it, we went to the local bank, Leader Bank. They gave us a loan, a construction loan to get us started. And with that loan, we actually started with the foundation work. But as we progressed, came COVID, like I mentioned, so work stopped and the supply chain was interrupted, disrupted.
Yeah.
And what happened in the beginning, our estimate of cost was close to $2 million. But now you can imagine how the cost would be. Anybody living in Boston, if you were paying an electrician $75 an hour, now you cannot get an electrician for even 225 bucks. So costs have gone up a lot, which increased the burden on us. And we had to go to our donor base. We have pleaded with them, and they did buy into our concept, which we will elaborate into why this is special institute, why this place has a different aura to it, how it will serve not only the current generation, but we are investing into the future generation. And so finally, to cut it short, we still have a loan from the bank, which we hope that our community, the Boston community, will come forward in supporting us, in helping us give back the loan to the loan amount to the bank, and so that we are loan free and we are able to sustain and maintain this institution going forward based on the revenues it will generate.
Do you still have a plan to add 2 floors there?
Later on.
But it is approved for the adding 2 floors.
Right now it's for 2 floors. That's what we applied for. And what I was also going to say, that the first floor has a temple and a kitchen area. The second level actually has a big hall and and then we have a conference room as well as 3 classrooms, and there is an area for a library as well. We have the structure. When you look at it from far, you'll see a big dome on top. The initial idea was to have a glass dome, so you could sit down and gaze at the sky. And look at these planets. Like right now, you said in the beginning that something is happening. It's the alignment of all the planets that we have Mahakumbh, and you could look from that space.
So what happened to that?
But I was going to say that the glass dome, we had to give up that idea. Instead, we built a regular dome because the cost was too high. We couldn't.
We hope that some volunteer comes up and say, "Look, let's replace that."
Exactly. We're looking for community to help us repay the loan that we have and then extend it beyond what we have imagined.
So to pay the loan and build that glass dome,
and maybe much more.
Well, if the way that everything is lining up, you never know. Somebody can watch it.
We have faith. I mean, we have come this far. And without one donor even coming and visiting this site, they have faith in us. They have faith in Abhayji, what he stands for, what VHPA stands for, our value system, and their belief in our activities. And the trust they have in us, they have supported us, and we're looking forward that everybody will continue to support us.
Excellent. So now let's come back to Abhay, to you. So one thing we have seen here in the US, this is a new phenomenon in the last 10, 15 years, I would say. There is a huge surge of Hinduism among the Indian Americans, and people are coming up openly and identifying themselves. So 2 questions for you. Why is that, number 1? And number 2, how this building fits in that context?
So the first one?
Yes.
There is sort of like a renaissance, like a surge of Hindu thought, not just in the US, around the world, and in Bharat as well. So why that is happening is because there has been an undercurrent all along. It's just now that it's surfacing. People, I think it's Hindus, they are recognizing that, yes, I mean, we as a community have we have a very rich heritage. We have a lot to offer. We have been misrepresented. We have been misquoted. I mean, our history has been distorted. Many such things, have led to this, that, we need to do something about it. So it's that proactive, feeling and effort, that's there. That's now being expressed as all of this. And you'll see, lot of young people are getting involved in this whole.
So now in that context, talk about a little bit in more detail about the mission and how this building is going to function.
Very good. Thank you. So maybe there are 6 important things that the Om Hindu Community Center focuses on. So one is it's a resource center. And It's a international, like intergenerational resource center, which focuses on the life cycle needs of our children, our youth, our families, and our elders. So you have to look at all those facets of our community and then focus on their needs. So we try to do that, right? The second thing is it's a place where you can discover your roots. The Hindus can discover their roots, right? Their history, their traditions, their knowledge system, right? And then their practices, and learn about it. And that includes, the young children, right? Because that's what the focus is, right? We want to go.
So you have also a growth, of course, the children born here, so much huge population, and also you have an aging American Indian population as well.
You hit it. Yeah. So how do we? The aging Hindu population in this country is very resourceful, very knowledgeable, right? How do we take advantage of their wisdom, right? And their resources to help the younger generation. So how do we exploit that synergy between the elderly and the young? That's what the focus at the Hindu Community Center is going to be. So like Sanjay was saying, so there is a one floor downstairs, one floor upstairs. So in one of those floors, right, we will do elderly, like senior center, right, where we can have like a day center for the seniors. And at the same time, we want to focus on like child care and after school care. So we want to have that, and that's the purpose of the whole classroom and all of those things.
I see a revenue model to pay the debt here already. Right?
You may think of it that way, but actually, that this whole synergy between the elderly. See, the elderly, a lot of them are elderly parents who've come from Bharat, right? They have so much to give.
Sure.
They want to be with children, right? Which over here is not normally possible if they come to that center, right? Then the children, young parents, what is their need? Young parents' biggest need is, so my little child, do I leave them at the daycare? Where do I leave them, right? If they can find an environment where there are these parents, elderlies, right? Parents, right? Who can tell stories, who can teach all kinds of things. And we have a temple, right? And there, if they can leave their children there for a day or half a day, what more can you ask for? So that synergy, right? After school care, when the children finish, the parents, they have to drive and bring them home, or we can have a van from the home center, pick up those children, bring them to the community center. The elderly parents, they can help them with their homework. Do
and also teach them, and expose them to Indian culture,
right? Exactly. So that is one of the most important things we want to do there in the home center, and that's what this whole thing is about. So the third thing is that it's a learning center, right, where Hindus, right, young and old, right, they come and learn their core values, right. They learn about their art, about their music, about their history, right. So that's so it's, you have to think of it as that, right? So we'll have lecture series, we'll have all kinds of people, right?
And how many people can Sanjay can fit in that at one given time?
See, right now a lot of people can fit in. So fitting people is not a constraint. The constraint is parking.
Sure. Okay. Right now, going to my next question. How many cars?
Right now, we have developed parking for 65 cars.
Okay.
And if we have also arrangement with other locations in the neighborhood that have additional about 200 to 250 parking spaces that they can share with us. Because most of our traffic will be on weekends or on festival days.
Sure.
So we will have people who will take the car and park there, or have shuttle buses who bring
now
them.
Is there going to be any competition between temples and center?
Before I go to that question, I wanted to come back to the earlier question that you had asked, Abhay.
Okay.
As for the resurgence of Hindu thought, as you know, in the Indian subcontinent, we have a civilization which is very, very old and has a history of thousands of years. And we have flourished. We have given to the world in technology, in every aspect of life. But in one last 1,000 years, we have been suppressed, as you know, and by invaders. And now there is a resurgence of pride in being a Hindu, taking pride in being Hindu. So in your identity. So that is why people are coming together and trying to take that pride forward and trying to defend themselves, not be oppressed forever. We're not competing with anybody and we're not threatening anybody. We're only saying that what we have to preserve it, sustain it, and flourish it.
And
That
then
is
also
the thought.
coexist with those people
Of
who have
course.
been there.
So the second aspect you had asked about the center is basically, I would say, what Abhay has been promoting is that there is Shraddha that will bring you to this institution. There is sadhana, of opportunities to discover yourself. There is opportunity to learn your sanskars. There is opportunity to learn your samskriti, your civilization, your culture, your rich heritage. There is opportunity to come together and do satsang. There is opportunity to actually do seva work, and also to do many other things where you can involve children, you can involve youth, young adults, you can involve young families or families who children have gone out and they're empty nesters, and then elderly, like he mentioned. So we are looking to cater to every aspect of life in the Hindu community. And beyond that, we want to connect with the local communities. We want to connect with the local organizations and build synergy, like Abhay was talking about. We have to show to the American society that we are part of it. Now, this is our home.
Sure.
We belong here and we participate with you. We want to share what we have. We want to learn from them, and we want to participate with them, and we want to engage them with us.
Excellent.
That is what this center will do.
Thank you.
So, Sanjay, thank you.
Because
there were 3 points that I was going to mention.
so I was coming back to the fourth one. You said talked about learning. So
learning.
Yeah.
So then the other one, Sanjay already described nicely.
Okay.
So it's a spiritual center, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a Shraddha, Sadhana, Upasana Kendra, right? You come, do, you have meditation, yoga classes, you'll have satsang, and so on. And the fifth one is that it's a place where you can serve. Right? You can serve the Hindu community, but more importantly, you want to serve the larger American community in this adopted land that we have and we cherish.
So for you, when you say Hindu community, does it also include everybody from anyone from India, right? I think there was some change in the nomenclature that
See, the concept of Hindu is anybody from Hind Mahasagar to Himalayas, whoever is born in that land.
Perfect. That's what I just wanted to make sure.
Actually, Upen, a little bit more than that, right? Because Hindus are not only from Bharat.
Sure.
Right? There are Hindus from Nepal, there are Hindus from Indonesia, there are Hindus from Malaysia, there are Hindus from Sri Lanka,
Caribbean.
there are Hindus from
Caribbean.
Pakistan, there are Hindus from Afghanistan, all over, right?
Sure.
So, and there are people around the world. Abhi Kumbh mein, we went there, you name it, there is not a country where there weren't devotees from.
Sure.
So they are all Hindu, right? And our tradition is so vast and so open, right? That it accepts everybody. Anybody who is dharmic is basically a Hindu, right? Hindu is a civilizational term, right? It has nothing to do.
That's what I just wanted to make sure that
it's a civilizational term. Right? Sanskriti is Hindu, right?
Sure.
Lifestyle.
What is the core value or lesson which Hinduism had taught you and you have practiced in your life?
So for me, there is the crux of Hindu philosophy, right? Tradition is in the first verse of the Ishavasya Upanishad. Ishavasyam idam sarvam yat kinchit jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunji tha ma gradaha kasyas vidhanam. The entire Brahman, the entire multiverse is nothing but Ishvara. In every single subatomic particle to this entire Brahman, it's all but Ishvara. Right? you are Ishvara, I'm Ishvara, little ant is Ishvara, like all little
And don't
insects
forget
in the
about
garden,
Sanjay, too.
right?
Yeah.
That's Sanjay, right? All of us, right?
Yes.
So the Ishvara, right? And what we acknowledge that, right? And we respect that. That is why we do Namaste to you, because you have the same divinity that I have, that the insect has, that the snake has, right? Right? And the only thing is, we should take from this universe only as much as we need. Only as much as we need. And whatever we take in our lifetime, we should replenish it back. Because nothing, this universe, this planet, this world that we live in, we are so fortunate that the biosphere is just the right to sustain us, right?
Sure, that's right.
And to let us enjoy this life. And so we need to replenish everything, right? And so you can see, right?
Sure,
from that
absolutely.
one verse, all the
Yeah, I
philosophy
totally agree with
of environment, climate change, everything, respect for Mother
Absolutely.
Nature, everything is there.
Sanjay, I will ask you the same question to you.
So in a nutshell, we are all one family. And like Abhay said, the truth is, give more than what you can take.
Sure, absolutely, yes.
That's all. That is our and each that's one verse encapsulates everything.
Yeah, excellent.
So
So now,
I wanted to continue
Okay.
on the discussion that Sanjay
okay.
started. So where do we want as a community? Where do we want to be? Say 2 generations from now. It goes back to the question, right? कि क्या हो रहा है, क्या change आ रहा है, कहाँ जा रहे हैं हम लोग, right? So as a Hindu community living in America, right? Where do we want to be in 2 generations, right? So that is the question that's been bothering you, me, all of us, right? And how do we sustain this, right? So it's all about relevance. How relevant is the Hindu community? It's all about what the presence is of the Hindu community in the public square, right? Are we present? And how impactful, how influential is the Hindu community, right? It's growing. Where do we want to be in 2 generations, right? I mean, there are many good examples for us to follow.
Already,
Right? I don't want to mention
Sure,
names,
yeah,
but
no,
there are many good examples, right? As a community. I mean, we already have made a lot of contributions as a Hindu community, and we have been a good model, a good citizen of this country, or any country that we go and settle in. So, what does the Hindu Community Center need to do? 2 things, okay? On one hand, it has to focus on the needs of the Hindu community, right? The intergenerational needs that we talked about, right? Of the Hindu community, right? To basically sustain our family unit, right? To sustain our value system, right? And to sustain our what do you call heritage, right? A knowledge system. So that is one aspect, right? So the Home Hindu Community Center provides the space, right, and the infrastructure. Small scale, but yes,
absolutely.
Beginning, but yes. So that's what the
and this
is.
model can be copied in other big cities as well.
That is the hope, right? Because we want to take it to like at least 7 centers around the country. But on the other hand, the Om Hindu Community Center says that we have to focus on our integration and our engagement with the larger American community, right? Because we want to reach out, right? We want to give. We want to share everything that we know, right? That has been given to us from our rishis. We want to share it with the larger community. And because we have so much to give, right? We have intellectual wealth, right? We have spiritual wealth. We have financial wealth.
Real wealth, yes.
No. And we have social wealth, right? Yeah, you said that.
Sure.
Right? To share, right? So we want to do that, right? To basically engage and help the community that we live in, right? So in this case, Billerica and the surrounding states. But this engagement is something that we want to do Also because our children are asking for it.
Mm.
They've been asking for it. We haven't been listening,
Mm.
but we beginning to listen, right? That they say that right here in America, right, we need to do seva.
Mm.
Right here in America, we need to engage, right? We cannot afford to live in a little cocoon of ours, right?
Mm.
We cannot be inward focused, right? We need to focus outside our community, right?
Mm.
And work and integrate and help that community. So that is the model, right? That we want to develop
Mm.
and then pass it on to our coming generation, because that is the way to create goodwill,
Sure.
right?
Excellent.
To engage with the community that you live in, and so that's what the home center is
Excellent.
about.
Great. Sanjay, your last word.
My last word is that this center is for the Hindu community, and as well as it's open to anybody and everybody who lives in Billerica or surrounding towns or in Greater Boston or Massachusetts. It is for everybody. What we are trying to do is to bring a real value system that we were fortunate to grow up back home in India, and we brought with us. But we want to bring that to and pass it on to our next generations, our future generations, so that they feel connected with their heritage, with their culture, and they pass it on to their next generations. And that is our hope. And our hope is also to connect with the American society and show them what our values are and how their lives can be enriched based on our value system, our family system. And those are some of the things that we want to bring to the society here, American society. And Om Hindu Community Center is a non-profit organization, a part of Vishwa Hindu Parishad of America, which is a non-profit organization. And our goal is to serve. And this will provide an opportunity for everybody, from young child to an elderly, to be part of the community, to contribute to the society, and to serve the mankind. With that, thank you.
Abhay, your last word.
So I first of all want to take this opportunity to thank the Hindu community here in Massachusetts. They have been very kind, very supportive, and we are so grateful for their help. And we hope that they continue to support us. And I especially want to reach out to all our youth, because Om Center is for the youth and for the elderly. And we want them to come and participate in all the programs and take over the management and the growth and the evolution of the Om Hindu Community Center from here on.
Thank you so much, Abhay. Sanjay,
Thank you so much. Thanks for the opportunity, and thank you to your viewers. Look forward to see you at Om Hindu Community Center.
Namaste.